Hello everyone, and welcome back to Spiritual Gamer. My name is Ken, aka The Phoenix, and this is Super Mega Baseball 4. So, as per usual, we are going to go ahead and simulate the PC games, and get right on into our next game, who is, I don't know against who yet, but Mustachio is juiced. Often is a little hurt, so we're going to substitute him with Billy Bronx is his name. Billy Bronx. Everyone's feeling good after the last game, which we dominated the Freebooters. And we're on to a new team, the Hot Corners. So we're going to go ahead, get right into it. Hopefully, the game is a bit better overall. Because the performance is because I did change my OBS settings. I did change my OBS settings a little bit. Immediately, we get ourselves into a pickle. I say into a pickle, it's just the first out. Follow it up with a home run. Can't go wrong with that. Can't go wrong with that. And, yeah. Episode 3, I'm feeling really good. It's been a good day. I try to find something good in every single day. That is my main focus, my main goal. Oh my. I kind of put a blanket term over everything that I've been doing recently and just calling it spiritualism. I don't even know if that's the correct term. I just know that meditation has changed my life. It really saved my life, as I've said before, in developing a way to calm down and developing a way to just deal with stress, because stress is inevitable. That's definitely a massive part of this existence and part of life. Damn, I was really hoping we could leg that out. But ultimately, it's only an aspect, but that is what I attribute it to largely. Oh, come on. Let's catch that ball. Heck yeah. Thank God that was foul. I would have been a little bit annoyed if it wasn't. Let's see if I can throw her out. No, way too fast. Way too fast. It wasn't even close. It's a nice strike. But yeah, so I've been doing, as I said, what I was hoping, and that is finding a good balance between everything, and that is one of the major parts of life, is finding balance, finding happiness, being happy with what you got in life, what you've been dealt, making the best of everything, and balancing ultimately. You can pretty much tell when you're out of balance by how you feel. And that can just even be something as simple as too much thinking, not enough doing. That is my problem. I have so many ideas that I never act upon, and it's just what my mind settles into. And I have a battling of philosophy where it's like, well, if I'm thinking about it constantly, maybe I should actually do that thing or do something about it. And really, it's not one of those things that's as easy as that. It is. Sometimes the idea I want to work on is counterproductive to the message I would like to put out. What I'm gonna do, really quick, I'm gonna do something here because I've noticed that this is not acting the way I hope so. So bear with me 1 second. And okay, so I switched from my window view to the gameplay view. because I noticed that the frames were not looking, as clear or as smooth. So we'll see if this changes things a bit. Again, new system, new quirks, new kinks to work out. That's just life. And I don't know why I take so long to get started. That was one of my main fears. After I changed everything is momentum, right? When I changed everything, I had momentum on my side. I had gotten into a rhythm, and then I changed the program I was using. I changed the system that I had been using, my setup and everything, and I largely was changing my format. Format changes are, I guess, my thing, right? That's just something that I have a tendency in doing. And I thought that would have been better. That was not good. But it looks like this is doing a much better job of handling the game. We will hope that the issues are resolved, but it seems to be doing better right now, and I seem to be getting into an early groove here. I think the team that I struggle with against the most in this game, though, is Nemesis. Why did I even stop him? I had 2 outs. But I do that a lot. I tend to have a tendency to forget how many outs there are. You bet that's a strike. I will throw 99 there. Throw it just a hair lower. Oh, but it's wild. Ooh, he almost bit. Right there. Got him. Alright, so we had something to work with there, and we just went with it, and ultimately it was better. Oh man, that was right through the hole. It ain't no good. If nothing else, even though this does provide me with a challenge a lot, I know I say that, and I've won a lot of games. Pretty much every game I've played so far on this series. And I keep saying it, I will keep saying it every day. They do provide a challenge. The bots do provide a hefty challenge in this mode. Wow, got him. And then I strike him out on that. But hi. All right, so the wife came in to say hello, and she just got herself a haircut, and it was beautiful. So we threw that ball super duper low. And to be fair, I lost my train of thought. But I do remember I was talking about the difficulty of the game, and that does give me a challenge. So yes, on TLDR, the game does give me a challenge, even though I have won every single game thus far in the season. I think it's a 48-game season, if I remember correctly. And you know what? You know probably better than I do at this point, which is wild because I set it up 2 episodes ago. Absolutely demolished that ball. I say absolutely demolished, but the park maintained it. It was held. Is this going to be a mistake? No, it was not. Went ahead, cashed in a run. So the park held the ball. Oh. And I do still see that I'm dropping some frames here, it looks like. But you know what? I can only do so much. I don't even need to rush this. Safe, though. And it says this is reporting that nothing has been dropped. We're going to have ourselves a little bit of a problem here. Troubleshooting. IT, what are you going to do? I guess I could scrub everything, but then I'd have to start this season over, and I don't want to do that for you all right now. The whole concept of this is that I play a game that is entertaining, kind of like I do in my regular life. I'm not a big story game player anymore. story-driven, massive narrative, something that requires a lot of focus. And one thing that I have actually started turning away from completely is horror games. Going back to the whole spiritual bubble. I did get a message recently to turn away from, oh man, that sucks, to turn away from the darkness. And I interpreted that as anything as violent or anything that doesn't serve me, essentially. Alright, double play. I could have potentially gotten a triple play, or at least gotten a double play third and first, or third and second, but I really didn't feel like doing that. I wanted to just turn what I had. We're going to strike him out right here. I have a two-seamer that I haven't been throwing. We will do one more, a little bit closer. It's a little wild, though. So, yeah, he was anticipating it. We do have also a sickly changeup. So we'll throw a regular changeup right there, high in the zone. And that's going to set us up for the curveball down here. All right, I tried for the strikeout. It did not work. Oh, but yes, I received a message to turn away from the darkness. I know what that actually means. It's not necessarily turning away from horror games, but when you watch certain things, it puts you into an emotional state, and you radiate that out. And what you radiate out, you also draw to you. That's why if you watch, like if you've noticed that when you watch something spooky or like a ghost series, like Sam and Colby, for instance, when I watch Sam and Colby a bunch, I suddenly notice a bunch of paranormal activity happening around me because I'm a beacon. I'm calling that out. And that's something that all of us do, really. And you might, oh my god, that's probably out of the park. That is drink worthy, unfortunately for me. I wish I obliterated it like that. Unfortunately, I did not. And his name is B Bash, so we did that. And I got really sucked into it when I was younger. To all that stuff, the paranormal stuff. And you know, I radiated that and attracted that from the state of being I was in. A lot of paranormal experience you have is actually tied to puberty as well. That's why. Because, I mean, your body is creating so much energy. You just become a beacon. It's not something that you can help. That's why so many, like, violent hauntings and things like that happen to people in adolescence and going through puberty. That'll go ahead and settle nicely into the glove.
Now batting, third baseman, number 29, Mario Mustachio.
And it's just something that you can't help. But as I said in a previous video, these entities that do that, they can't do much to you without your permission. So while you are a beacon and you can acknowledge their presence, that is drink worthy. Since this is root beer, I figure I'll just drink for everything that's knocked out of the park. And even then, I'm not going to do it religiously, because if I continue doing that, I will finish my beverage much faster than I want to. But it's not a beer. And the goal is it is a beer. It's a root beer, but it's a non-alcoholic beverage, and the goal is to enjoy myself and not get plastered like it used to be back in the day. And that is true growth. That is true growth. But yes, getting back onto my paranormal shtick, you know, because we're beacons, we can't necessarily stop those entities from coming around. But if you notice that they're there, you can choose not to feed it. You can choose to ignore it and set your boundaries, starve it of what it wants, and just go on about your day, go on about your life. Well, once it realizes that it's not going to get what it wants, it's going to move on. And then you'll watch a a scary movie again, or watch something that puts you into a negative state, and that negativity will draw it back inevitably. And that's why you get, people saying that negative entities just come and go, they hang around, and it is what it is. They're nothing to fear. As I said in in one of my previous videos, one of my last ones, is that I likened it. My goodness, excuse me. I likened it to a child throwing a tantrum. Like, sure, it can scratch you, but is it going to kill you? Not if you don't let it. Yeah, it hurts a lot when it scratches you, but that's like, the limit of what it can do. So long as you don't feed into it and play by its rules. Doing a Ouija board is something that is absolutely ridiculous and is not something I would ever recommend for anyone to do. As that one settles nicely into the glove. Just been kind of going on a roll here as I've been talking about ghosties. These ghosty ghosts. But that I've noticed that when I watch something ghost related, something that can make the hairs on my arms raise, that typically is when I experience stuff like that. Now, that does not apply with everything else. My favorite film of all time is John Carpenter's The Thing. And I can watch that movie and not have any sort of negative experience come at me, because it's not like they know that you're watching it. It's about the state that it puts you in. So if you can relate to something and it creates negativity, then of course that's what's going to draw them in. But ultimately, that's one of my missions in life, is to tell you that yes, there are things on the other side of the veil, and it is not something that you need to worry about. One of my friends, I've alluded to this in a previous video, talking. Dang, that was impressive. It's like he has a magnet in that glove. It looked a little sketch. Not gonna lie, but whatever, we'll take it. I alluded to it in that same episode. I was talking about negative entities and paranormal activity, that I had a friend who was a non-believer that had seen a lot, and he goes by the name Trey, and he was absolutely a non-believer when we met. He very science-based individual, tries to use logic over emotion in a lot of cases. But sometimes, I don't know, I would say, sometimes it can be to his detriment. Oh, are you kidding me? Dang, that did not magnetize to my glove. I slid, that hit my character in the chest. What gives, game? What gives, Super Mega Baseball? But, that's humanity. Humans, we are constantly in a battle between our left and right brains, emotions and science. Grounded? I don't know. Emotionless? Fact-based? I don't know what you'd call it. Because I'm split between two different schools of focus right now. But the point of this is that he was very much a non-believer when he met me. And then, through hanging out with me, he'd seen stuff fly off my shelf when in my room. Things got shifted around. Things got knocked off the shelves. That's off the edge of the bat. We didn't get all that one. And, it got to a point where we had a shared experience where the door latch to my door, it opened. It was like something hit the door latch, because we saw it, we heard it, we saw it. It went down and popped the door open briefly. We thought it was my mom. And we were like, yeah, what do you want? Opened the door, there was no one there. The light in the basement was off. We're like, what? We stared at each other. His eyes were huge. Like a deer in the headlights. And I just said, fuck it. And I grabbed a beer and we drank it. Just chugged a beer after it made its presence known. I'm getting these borderline calls and it's helping me out. See, sometimes on those close plays, when it could just be on the outside of my player's glove, it's tough to say when you should actually dive for him, because I have had them literally just like almost bounce under my glove. And somewhere it's like I'm half a foot away and it just gets magnet. So I don't know how the game really figures that out. I don't know if it's RNG. Maybe that's something I can look into or research. But it's one of those quirks of the game. And now that I'm actually into episode 3, what I'm realizing is Spiritual Gamer is a perfect series for me to do, because I am in this flow state. I'm literally commenting on the game, switching between telling a paranormal story, talking about how entities ain't shit, basically, and then talking about gameplay mechanics. It's pretty interesting. As they rob another hit from me, that was pretty impressive. So as you saw here, I literally started off like crushing it, and now I can't get a hit to save my life. It could be just that I'm split again and not having the type of versatility I need. Because sometimes, I can't help it but actually fall into a pattern. I need to start striking people out so the mojo goes up for my pitcher. Oh, I didn't even realize he was going for second. I was literally just looking up at the scoreboard. Let's see, what do we got? We got someone, his mojo is locked in though, so it's not like there's much I can do about it. We haven't been throwing that two-seamer that I've been talking about before, so let's switch into the two-seamer. Okay. Let's see. Okay. All right, that worked out to our benefit. There we go. And that's one thing that I really appreciate about this game, is that I just cycled through those pitches super quick. Cycle through them super quick. And my part of the innings are going by super fast, so this is the last hitter of the game. We are gonna, I was gonna take that first one, but good lord, it was a meatball. It was just a meatball down the center of the plate. I'm hitting these balls at some 94%. I think I just finally cracked my hitless streak. Man! I thought that was a home run, too. The game is conspiring against me. I'm over here claiming of conspiracies while I'm up 12-1. It's hilarious. I guess the point of this episode is to tell you all that, entities are nothing, and you don't have to worry about them. I guess that's not an out. I literally thought that was an out. I guess he just trapped it. Let's get a home run. Would like a home run. We're not going to get it that way. And to Trey, if you would be a dear to go ahead and comment the legitimacy of that incident, I would greatly appreciate it. But I also don't want you to be doxxed, so you don't have to tell anyone that and have yourself doxxed and have people tie your real name to your username. So that's another thing to take into account, into consideration. There is one more incident I would like to talk about, but we'll see if I have enough time. We'll rush through it real quick. Nice. 2008. Right after I got cheated on. It was like 2 months after I got cheated on. I was really tired after 13 hours of school, and I was laying down in my bed. I had my... So that's a strike, but he totally lost it, and we almost had a base runner. So I was sleepy, and I had all my lights on in my room, and turned the light on. Here, let's try to give him something to hit. Try to give him pitch to hit right down the heart of the plate, because I'm trying to tell this story. There it is. We'll get a base runner on. All right. Intentionally giving up the goose. Hopefully this leads to a massive inning for them, and hopefully we get to extend this. If I don't get through the story, I will go, when I switch to the full screen, I will finish the story there. 13 hours of school, really tired, laying in bed. I didn't intend to, though. It was one of those things where, like, when you lay down to, like, you're really tired and you're walking past your bed and you're intending to do something else. That was it. And you're really tired and you're walking past your bed and you just lay down to go to sleep. Just instinctively, I laid down. And I only went through 2 pitchers. See, Elwood is not bad with a 1.12 ERA, whereas some of my other players have bad ERAs. But, you know, I'm also looking at the ERAs of the other team, 20.25, 11.57. I really ruined these people. I totally ruined their ERAs. Rolf Borgner, Joseph Trunk, Thurman Colt. I will get to the story in a second. I just want to go through all of these things and look. And you know what? I'm not going to be able to look at I can look at the season standings really quick. Let's take a look here. We are the Buzzards. We have 3 wins, no losses, 1,000 winning percent. We are a half game ahead of the Jacks, who are off to a good start, 2 ahead of the Crocodons. And the Freebooters, not doing too hot. They're 0-2 because they faced us the first 2 episodes. So they're in the Beast Division, though. So next time we will continue our series against. Looks like we're going up against Nemesis next game, who is very hard. They are very difficult. So I'm looking forward to that. However, we are going to switch back to our main cam. Boom. So, the story. I kind of laid it out, but I will recap. I got cheated on early 2008. I was in a bad mental state. And as I said, when you are in those negative states, you are attracting what you put out. So, one night, after 13 hours of school, I get up to go take a shower. And as I'm walking past my bed, I just instinctively jump into it. It's one of those things where I'm just like, you know what, whatever. I jump in there, so all my lights are on. And I start to drift off. I'm in between asleep and awake, and I hear my dad's voice call to me from the edge of the bed. I say call. It's more just like a son. He just spoke. And he only calls me son when he has something really important he wants to talk about. So I sit up, and I'm like, yeah, Dad. And I look, and there's no one there. I think it's weird, but, you know, that's how every paranormal encounter I've ever had starts. I just think I'm kind of crazy and ignore it. It's only later when I piece it together that I realize that it was paranormal. Anyways, so I sit up and I'm like, yeah, Dad, no one there. Okay, that's weird. Lay back down. I plan to, you know, I'm doing that thing where I lie to myself where I totally plan to get up in just like 2 minutes. I'm just going to lay here for a minute. No big deal. Start to drift off again. And I hear that same voice, my dad's voice, except it's a low, deep murmur. And it's talking about like the demon world. And I'm like, okay, maybe, you know, this is something because I loved the Devil May Cry series back in the day. And I'm like, okay, could be something related to that. Like, this is totally weird. And I ignore it and I start to fade. The voice gets lower and lower and lower, like going into the recesses of my mind. And then out of nowhere, I hear this roar, this scream in my ear, and I hear a smack, and there is a flash in my vision, and this pain just shoots through my skull. And I sit up, and like when I sit up, I have my fists up like this, and like, so I sit up, first off blocking, and then I'm thinking maybe it's my brother who came in, saw me sleeping, and he hits me in the face thinking he's being funny. So I cock back, and I'm ready to just throw a haymaker. I sit up, and my door is shut. There's no one there. Nothing has been moved in my room. And I just kind of sit on my bed with my hands on my head for a second, like, what just happened to me? as it was literally like something just punched me in the face and it wasn't there. So I told a couple people this story. My brother, who I thought punched me in the face, I told him that, and he was like, you need to go talk to a priest. I'm like, no, it's fine. It'll be fine if I ignore it, because at this point, I had had experiences my whole life. I was like, it's fine. You know, at this point, if I ignore it, I know it'll go away, so I'm going to ignore it. And that's exactly what I did. And my other brother was a big detractor of that. He was coming up with all these scientific reasons of what could have happened, these conditions, maybe it was sleep paralysis, things happen when you're asleep, and sure, scientifically minded people, okay, that's fine. But I bring that up because in 2020, right after my mom passed away, he sends me a text. And he's like, hey, you got punched in the face in mom's room after I moved out. That got converted into a guest bedroom. And then much later on down the line, she took that room over. Because my parents, it's a whole thing. They never really slept in the same room. Even though I had a very loving relationship, they just two different sleepers that needed different settings. Anyways, so she took that room over as her room. And so after she passed, my brother was visiting and he was staying in that room. And I was like, yeah, why? And he said, because it just happened to me. And I recounted the story to him and he's like, that's exactly what happened. And I just found it funny that my biggest detractor back in the day had the same exact experience that I had, same room, same thing. Again, it was a negative instance. And it was just really funny. But that's going to wrap it up. Again, just remember that if you have any sort of negative attachment, that you have nothing to worry about. You don't have to be fearful of it because you are living. It came to you. It needs your energy. You can tell it to piss off, to shove off, and live your life in peace. And it's going to fight you. Just ignore it. It might scratch you. It might claw you. It might give you a nightmare. Bring yourself to center, control your emotions, starve it of what it deserves or what it's after, and it will move on. So, everyone, that does it for episode 3 of Spiritual Gamer. I want to thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. So join us, will you?